having such a strong hereditary link to breast cancer, I knew that it was very likely something that might impact my life, and I needed to take those preventative steps. And so for me, that looked like having a mastectomy in my 20s. I was a young woman who cancer was always part of the vocabulary. And it was part of the vocabulary because my mother, my grandmother, and my great aunt had all been diagnosed with cancer by the time I was even born. And unfortunately, when I was 16, I lost my mom to breast cancer in her second bout. To undergo something like that at such a young age, I think it really makes you realize that you no longer have the luxury of your youth. And particularly being someone with such a strong family history of breast cancer, I knew that I needed to be proactive in my life. And that's a little different story for every woman. But for me, that looked like having a mastectomy in my 20s. And I would be lying if I said that I wasn't scared or timid or had moments of thinking, oh, what am I doing? Particularly because I was 26, I was unmarried. I had no idea really where my life was headed. And I had to get sort of into the mindset of, I'm giving up this part of my vanity so that I can live. And the thing that really gave me the confidence to do it, my mother left me all of her journals. And in them, she wrote me a letter. And one of the things she said, "Dear Allie, I'm so sorry to leave you because you'll need me for many years and not just a few." And I felt like in that moment, I was able to put myself in my mother's shoes. She would have given up any part of her body to be here for another minute to share her life with us and to be able to counsel us. And if I was thinking about something so superficial as, my breasts, and that was going to stop me from being here for my future children or having to, potentially leave them because I was vain. But that's not to say that it's not a very challenging decision. And the way that you look and the way that your body looks is vitally important to women, particularly when you're young, and it's how you face the world. But I think it was going into it with the mindset of, I'm choosing to live, and that's the most important thing. A lot of people ask me why SHEFIT. I really struggled with being able to exercise again, because when you have a procedure like this, you can reconstruct in a lot of different ways. But for me, I always felt like something was wrong or I was going to shake a part loose. I remember hooking it up, zipping it up, and feeling for the first time like my life didn't have to be so different. To have that one thing in my life that was back to normal when everything had changed was really life-changing for me. And I loved the idea of a woman being able to have a SHEFIT as part of her life. And then, God forbid, she has to undergo a procedure like this. This can be something she wears home from the hospital. This can be something that is with her during the entire recovery process. And then something that's with her through her journey of life. You don't have to change because the bra changes for you. I was 26 when I had my procedure, and I was fresh off of competing at Miss USA and Miss America, and women in the beauty industry just don't talk about these sort of things. If they have to undergo it, they kind of brush it under the rug. It's something they do in secret. But for me, I thought, I can't be the only person going through this. And why wouldn't I share my story? I felt this really strong, compelling feeling that it was important that I share the message, that having this surgery was available to young women. You can have something like a preventative surgery that could potentially save your life. And if you have maybe a breast cancer mutation, you have an 87% likelihood of developing breast cancer in your life. And to take that from 87% to 1%, I like those odds. So as somebody who's undergone a preventive mastectomy myself, I knew all the challenges that came with undergoing that sort of procedure and then the recovery and beyond. So the Paving Foundation is really designed to put women back in the driver's seat of their healthcare choices. So when women are facing maybe a mastectomy or a cancer diagnosis, they're able to advocate for themselves with their doctor, and the Paving helps them do that. over the years, so many women had reached out to me asking me about my reconstruction, how I did it, what type of procedure I had, what type of breast prosthesis I had reconstructed with. And there was just no one comprehensive place where women could go and learn about what their options were. And so I said, you know what? If it's not out there, I'm going to build it. I said, all right, I'm going to figure out how to build the website. I'm going to become my own graphic designer. I'm working with a budget of $0. And women didn't know that there wasn't just one type of reconstruction. There's 16 different types of ways that they can reconstruct their body. And even if you don't know if you want to have a mastectomy, maybe you just have a family history, you can find information about how to get tested for a breast cancer gene mutation. Or if you know you have one, when you're looking into your fertility in the future and maybe you want to eliminate that from your family tree. And so to compile that information, to put it together in a really easily accessible, digestible place for women to go. It's all packed in the Previver. I always call it the Wikipedia of mastectomy. Yes. So you can just go there, you can find the information. Number one, know your family history. This is not something that's possible for every woman, obviously, because sometimes we just don't know. But if you have the opportunity to find out with the last 2 generations, if anyone's been diagnosed with a breast or ovarian cancer, number one thing when it comes to will you be diagnosed in your lifetime? So knowing that family history is vital. Number 2, learn how to do a self-breast exam. And that is something that people can find on our social channels at the Previver, and then coming in October at thepreviver.org. If you want to learn how to do it, we're going to lay it out simple and easy. It's 5 minutes. It's vitally important to know how to do it. And then it's a tool that you can take with you for your whole life. And you can help your friends learn how to do it. And I always say, you could save a life, your friends or your own. And that's number 2. And then 3 is just pay attention to your body. You are your own best advocate and you know when something's wrong. So if something is feeling off, you find a lump, you find a bump, or even if you're just feeling a little bit run down, that's how my mom discovered her breast cancer. She just wasn't recovering the way that her body was supposed to. And if your doctor says no to a screening, go get a new doctor.